Hi, Tim Unkert here. Today we're going to make this landing page and we're going to use Milligram CSS. Milligram CSS is a minimalistic framework. You see the page here, the home page, and it's currently on version 1.4.1. We're going to create some stuff using the column pattern with it. We'll start with the navbar, move to the hero. We're going to have, so we have the navbar, the hero here. We have two info sections with some nice photos here and here. And then we have a nice little contact form here. And I will need to add a submit button. I didn't do that. And we have a little footer here. So we're going to go through that and we'll make this and we'll see how it turns out. Now today I have been using command line editors. I'm going to use a GUI application called Atom, which is a hackable text editor for the 21st century. You may have probably heard of it. It's kind of a predecessor. It precedes VS Code. So atom.io, it's free to download. You can download it from here. They are still updating it. I don't think there's as much development as VS Code. And sometimes it can be a little resource hungry like VS Code. But again, I'm running on a Chromebook with 4 gigabytes of RAM for this video, recording a video on Screencastify. I do have 2 gigabytes of RAM swap space enabled. In the past, I've enabled 4 gigabytes of RAM swap space on this Chromebook, and it had both VS Code and Atom open at the same time, along with watching a video and doing some other stuff, and it all worked fine. So people make a big deal about that on the internet. On my other, I have this really older Chromebook that, because I'm a teacher, I have some extra ones that I got around. My other main machine is a Windows. It has 16 gigabytes of RAM, but this older Chromebook I got, cheap one, it has 2 gigabytes of RAM. That one might have a little bit of issue running something like this. But anyways, you can see how it performs. Sometimes it might get a little slow. Anyways. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to close this out. And I've opened up my editor. I've created a project folder, and I have an index.html and a style.css folder. Now, this is a fresh install of Atom. I only have the one plugin that I installed, which I feel is necessary, which is Emmet. I use Emmet on Vim. I use Emmet on VS Code. It comes pre-installed in VS Code. I've used Emmet even on Notepad++ in the past. And brackets also. And if a text editor doesn't have Emmet, it's like typing out all this HTML is kind of hard, because I'm just going to go and hit the exclamation part and hit I can't talk. Sorry about that. Let's do that again. Let me show you this little shortcut. So I'm going to just type the exclamation mark here and hit tab, and bam, I've got like a little structure HTML5 framework. I don't have to type the doc type, the language. I don't have to type the character set. I don't have to type the viewport here. Now in Vim, the Emmet doesn't give me the viewport, but if I type meta:viewport and then expand it with Emmet, it gives me a whole bunch of stuff. It doesn't give me the HTTP equiv for, I believe that's for Internet Explorer, which I mean is crap. But anyway, so, in case someone's viewing this on Internet Explorer, it'll probably work. All right, so we're going to actually also do a description. So let me see if this plugin will do this. I'm going to hit tab, and that doesn't do that. So actually, in VS Code, it does. It will get, and in Vim. So a little bit of a down mark there. I'm just going to do meta tag for the description. And I'm going to say something like content is... this is a landing page built with, what are we using? Milligram CSS, okay? And instead of the document here, I'm going to go down here and just type Milligram CSS landing page, okay? Under here, so there are multiple ways to get Milligram. Let's go to their page. So if we go to get started, we can use Bower. We can use Node, the Node package manager. We can use Yarn, cool. And we can also just bring in the CDN. So for this project, that's what I'm going to do, okay? Now there's pros and cons to everything, but let me me enable soft wrap here. Let me just toggle soft wrap there. So there are multiple things we can do. This is one of them. Some of the advantages of this are that you don't have to, you know, if you're using something like if you're using Bootstrap, say, and you have the CDN, the chances are your page will load faster because they probably won't have to download the style sheet, because if it's already downloaded in their browser from visiting another website that uses Bootstrap, then they're not going to have to download it. Now, Milligram, I don't know if it's as popular, but still that might be the case. The downside is if the CDN goes down or something like that, which I don't think really happens very often, but or you want to customize it yourself. If you want to customize it yourself, you can't use a CDN. Sort of, because you can customize your own style sheet if you put your style sheet further down, which is what we're going to do. But if you're really getting into customizing it, you probably should do your own CSS file and then use the stuff that you want to use the components that you want to use, that kind of thing. All right, enough babbling. I'm going to make a comment here that this is the Milligram, and it's a Google Fonts. I think it's what they have their Roboto font they're using. Milligram and Google Fonts, let's just say CDNs. And let's see, yeah. Okay, control and / gives me the comment here. In Vim, if you're interested about the shortcut, with that, they have a comment plugin. You have to install the plugin called Vim Commentary, and if you type GCC, it'll come out the line. If you do a visual block, GC will comment it out. So just those are some shortcuts you might find interesting. We're also going to link in some custom CSS. Okay, so let's see. And I'm just going to type link CSS, and it's going to give me the path to that, so I don't have to do anything else. Now, if you had it in a different folder, like let's say CSS, you would have to include the folder through the path. Okay, so now we're going to start, and we're going to start with a header and the navbar. So I'll make a note of that. Okay. I don't have my Vim keyboard shortcut, so I can't do JK smash those and then Shift A to get to the end of the line real quick. But it doesn't make that big of a difference. All right, so to start off, we're going to have a header. And inside that header, we're going to have a div with the class of row. Milligram uses rows and columns. And then within that, I broke it apart. Now, I didn't see something in the docs for a nav bar like some of the other things have. So I kind of had to use their grid system a bit to break it apart. Now, if you look at the grid system, I'm going to undraw. We're going to get some photos from undraw later. If you go to the grid system, you look here for grids, and you go to some more examples of grids, and you scroll down, you see we can do offsets. But they have all these column widths. So you put like a dash, and then whatever, like if you want 10%, you put a dash and 10, which is the lowest you can go. And the highest is all the way up to 100. And then there's breakpoints in between. But you see here, you can't do like 35%. So there are some limitations with that, but it is kind of handy. Okay. I'm offline. Let me close that out. All right. Hopefully this is still recording. Okay. All right. So within the row, we do have thunder coming through, so that could be part of the problem. Within the row, we're going to have 4 columns. Okay. The first, and I'm going to do a class of column and a class of column -10. That's going to give me one that's 10% across. Then I'm going to do one with a class of column and a class of column -30, and also a class of logo. Okay, so this is a quick way to do a lot of different classes using Emmet. So I'm just kind of showing you that advantage. And then I'm going to have the next one is going to have a class of column and a class of column -50. And then the last one, I'm looking at my notes here, is going to have a class of column. And whoops, I got to add that. So I got to fix this a little bit. Go here, got to add this, or it's all going to be one div. Class of column and a class of column dash 10. Okay. And we're going to hit tab and expand that out. Okay. That give me a logo class. So no, I don't want that. I want this to be a div. Let me just fix that. Fix that. So sometimes, yeah, I might have messed up when I typed that. But anyways, this one has a class of logo. Okay. Within this one that has a class of logo, all right, we are going to do an image, and the image is going to be a unicorn. So let's actually, no, let's just type it, and then we'll figure that out from there. So I'm going to type img. It's going to give me where's the source. I'm going to put that in the images folder, and it's going to be a unicorn.svg, which we're going to have to get. The alt text is going to be something like unicorn web dev, because that's the name of our fake web dev agency. Okay. And actually, I got ahead of myself, because in this column of 30, I want to break that apart into two other columns. So I'm going to hit Control X for a moment and get that out of there. And instead, I'm going to type a row, because we have to do a row. And then we're going to have inside of that, we're going to have one div with a class of column and column 10. And then the other div is going to have a class of column and column 90. That makes 100, right? Okay, we're going to hit tab and get those two divs. Now in the first div here, that's where I'm going to have my image. So I'm going to just paste that in. Okay, Control C to paste. Atom's kind of like your normal thing. Vim's a little different. Atom's just like your normal kind of GUI application. Control V, Control C, Control X. Okay, so after that, I want my actual text. Okay, and we're going to do the text. We're going to do a link. We should probably do an unordered list in that with a link with unordered list with a list item and a link inside the list item. So I'm going to do that. We're not going to have the link go anywhere. I mean, it could go to index.html, but we're not going to focus on we're just focusing on the aesthetics in this. Okay. So I'm going to hit Control S to save. And then I'm going to begin in working on this div with the column of 50. And within that, I'm going to have a row, because we're going to split this up to row, if I could type. And we're going to have two divs. One's going to have a column that's going to be 30%. And first one's going to be 70%. I lied. And then the second one is going to be a div with a column that is 30%. Okay. And all right. So the 70% one I'm leaving as a spacer. Now, in retrospect, I probably should have used offset 70 in the one div, which I could have done. I did not do that, but again, I could have done that. That would have worked maybe a little better, because I'm just building this to look good on the desktop. So anyways, keep that in mind. Okay, within there, we are also going to have a row. And within that row, we are going to have 4 columns. Okay, so I'm going to have column, and I'm going to multiply that by 4 and hit tab. Okay, and then within each of those, and actually I can do this a little bit better. So let me do it again. So we're going to have each 4 columns, and within each of the columns, we're going to have an unordered list with a list item, and inside the list item is going to have a link, and yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, now all of these links are going to go nowhere. So I believe with Atom, let's see, if I hold down Control, I can get multi-cursor here, action, and I'm just going to do that. That's going to make them go nowhere. Okay, and so then we have the home, we have the about page, we have the contact page, and we have the blog page. If I can spell correctly, okay? And then we'll go down here, and right here we're going to just make a comment that we ended the header, and I can't really spell tonight, ended the header and nav menu. Okay, I'm going to hit Control S to save. Let's open this, and hopefully it won't be too much of a disaster. We do have to add some style to it in a moment. So I'm going to go to Projects, Milligram landing page. And so we've got it's kind of a mess right now, right? We don't have the photo because we don't even have the image folder yet. So we have to get that. We have to get some stuff. So let's go over here, go up here and make a new folder. And I'm going to call that images. Okay. And then we want to get some images in there. All right. So I have these images because I've been doing this unicorn web dev in different frameworks just to show you the frameworks. I have them in my materialize one, I believe. And so, yeah, let's copy these over. And we're going to go to Milligram, paste it. Okay. Just copy these three because we're going to be using them again. Paste it and copy and paste. Okay. So now we're going to close that out. And if we go here, we have those three images. Nice. Okay, refresh. And we've got that little image. We got like, this doesn't look anything like what we did or what we have for our final project here. It doesn't look nice. So we're going to get it to look nice though. And the way we're going to do that is we are going to bring up or do a search for hex by image. Okay. And I think I'll use this one. No, I'm sure this one works fine, but I like this one better. Okay, yeah, I mean, you can choose whichever one you like. So we're going to upload a file. We're going to base the color scheme based off of that unicorn. So we're going to just take this photo is the only one we need. And so the navbar color is going to be this color. So I'm just going to copy that. And all right, so we're going to go to the style sheet. Let's open that up. And hold on one sec. And all right, so we're going to do a style for the header. So let's go over here. I have a header, and we have this background color. And let's paste that in. It's that color, and then the regular links are white. And I want a height of 60 pixels. So we are writing some of our own CSS to use this framework. It's supposed to be minimalist and kind of provide something. So we've got that. That looks okay, but we've got to fix a few things. So one thing, I want a header, the UL, the unordered list item, the link, I want that color to be white. Okay, FFF is white, short for white. Okay, we've got those all white. That's good. All right, I also, let's go up here, the header, the unordered list item, I want the list style type. I want that to be, let's see, what did I do? I opened up 3. I was doing a wrong keyboard shortcut there. So I want the list style type to be none. Okay. And I'm going to save that. Let's refresh. Okay, that's starting to look a little bit nicer, but we need some other stuff. So I also want the list item to have padding on the top of, let's see, what did I give it? 20 pixels. Okay, and let's refresh, and that brings that. And so now the list items are looking pretty good, okay, which is how we have them here, okay. All right, and then this is kind of messed up. So the header image, let's go up here. We're going to have a margin top of, and I used Emmet there, MT, hit tab. 15 pixels. Okay, so let's do that. We're bringing it down. That looks good. Okay, so my navbar is done. Sweet. For desktop. All right, so now we're going to go to this section where we have this bunch of stuff here. Let me go over here, look at my notes. So we are starting, what did I call this? I called this the hero. Okay. So let's go back to our index.html. We'll make a note here that we're going to begin the hero section. Okay, and so we're going to have a div with a class of hero. Within that, we're going to have a div with a class of hero spacer. I don't know if I actually use this. I actually did. I think I did. And then we'll see if we need that. And then we have a class of row, and then within that, we're having a couple divs. Okay. So let me go down here. We have 3 divs that we have here next. So we're going to have class of column -10 plus then column. They have a class of column and then column -80 plus then column and column -10. Okay. All right. So we have those 3 classes. All right. And now within that, in the column 80. So these others I used as spacers. Now I could have used offset. I probably would recommend doing that on second try, but again, this is me just looking at the framework really quick. So there's multiple ways to do things like that. Okay, so within that, we're going to have within the 80. So the 10 is just the spacing on the side. It's kind of like their version of the container that I found. They may have a container that I didn't see in the documentation, but this is what I found. So I have 10% here and then 10% here. Okay, so that's why I'm doing that. So within here, I'm going to have a row because we're going to break this apart. And then we're going to break it apart into 3 divs, all with 33%, taking 33% of the space. Shoot, let me just make 2 more of those. And then within the first one, so I'm going to have a 4th level heading plus an unordered list with 4 list items, and the list items are all going to have, they're all going to have this like commented, for the HTML. I thought that would look kind of neat. Now the way I can do that, if I write a regular comment, it's just going to comment it out. You're not going to see anything. So I have to use some special characters. So I'm going to use LT semicolon, then the exclamation point that you see in the comma, and then another dash, 2 dashes, then a space, 2 dashes, ampersand GT for the other side of the bracket. Okay, and we're going to do 4 of those, and I'm going to expand, and there we go. And so we have each of these. We have the text inside, which is nice. And here I'm going to write HTML. Okay. In here, the top one, I put something like semantic tags. Then below that, I put something like SEO. Okay. And then below that, I put well-designed structure. Okay. Below that, I put HTML5. I don't know. You're trying to make it look cool and snazzy. So, all right. The next, below that, we also have another 4th level heading plus an unordered list. Inside the unordered list, we're going to have 4 list items, and they're going to have the CSS code. So they're going to have, so to get the text, I have to put this bracket and this bracket, and then each of these list items is going to have what's in between there. So I actually want a little space there, and I'm going to have 4 of those, and I'm going to expand that out. Okay. So now we can put like a kind of like a CSS kind of style. And since we're on Milligram, we're going to say Milligram and then colon, yes, semicolon. Okay. And then here we're going to put bootstrap colon, and then yes, semicolon. Okay, cool. And then below that, we're going to use foundation. Okay, colon. Yes, semicolon. All right, nice. And then below there, we're going to do materialize. Yes. Okay. And all right. So I think that's good. Let me make sure that's just one space. Okay. Looked a little weird to me. All right. So that's that first div. Okay. That's this side here. Okay. Now we have to have our unicorn. All right. So in this middle div, we're just doing the unicorn. Okay. So we're going to do an image, hit tab, the source is images, unicorn.svg, and we'll make our text unicorn web dev again. Okay, and then on this side, so we're going to have JavaScript and PHP inside of header 4. So we're going to have, first we're going to have a header 4, a fourth level header. Inside that, an unordered list with list items. Each of the list items is going to have let as some of the text. And I'm just going to give a space there because it's like let the variable. Okay, plus then we're going to have a fourth level heading, unordered list. Inside that, a list item. Sorry, I got to make 4 of these. So I got to multiply this by 4. Inside of that, a list item, and we're going to say echo because we're going to be using PHP, and we're going to do 4 of those. Also, I am just going to put the text in here, PHP, and in here, I'm going to put the text JavaScript. Okay, I'm going to go over here and hit tab. All right. So what happened is I messed up. I messed up bad. All right, Control Z to fix that. Okay. The reason being is I don't want the unordered list in there. I want that. I don't want it in the heading. I want it below the heading. All right. I got to do the same thing here. All right. And go here and hit tab again. Let's see if that works. No, I messed up again. Okay. So it probably would just be a lot easier if I just wasn't trying to trick out with Emmett on this, but I'm going to keep trying to trick it out. The reason, okay, so I think I have to put these in parentheses because I don't want my heading 4 inside this unordered list. Okay, let me put these in parentheses too. Okay, I don't want that. Yay! Okay, so now I've fixed it. All right, so we've got our JavaScript. We're going to say let React, let Angular, we'll let Vue, and we'll go with the trendy one, Svelte. Okay, and then we're going to echo WordPress because it's these are content management systems that are basically built on PHP, Joomla, and Drupal. And then below that, we'll do Laravel. Okay, and hit Control S to save, and let's see how this looks. So refresh, and yeah, it's not like exactly how we want it. Okay, so we got to fix a few things. So, oh yeah, up here, I got to have CSS first off. What else? Okay, so this is wrapping over because the div here is closing. So I want to take this stuff up here and I want to put that below here. Okay, so that should fix that. Okay, and we'll save and now refresh. Okay, so that fixes that. Now there's a padding issue, some other styling issues, which I did fix in the CSS. Okay, so one, I want this stuff over here. I want this JavaScript stuff to kind of be lined up here. I want more padding on the top of this. So I'm going to give it some kind of margin and margin padding. Here, I don't want these bullets. Okay, I want to take away all of those bullets. All right, so we are in info section 1. So let's go to the style sheet and we'll make a note, CSS info section 1. Okay, make Make a little comment there. All right, so in the info section 1, in that div, the unordered list items, I want the list style type to be, let's go down, and none. Okay, and let's do that, and we'll save and refresh. That didn't take that away. Okay. And maybe I'll try dot column. That's gonna take it away. What did I do? How did I get rid of that? List style. We're not in info section 1. We are in the hero. That's why this is not working. I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't think I need this. I'll probably just do column list items or hero list items. All right, so we got rid of those. Awesome. Okay. Now I want these to move to this side over here. So let's take this, and that's the JavaScript. Let's give this a class of align right. Okay, and we'll save that and go over here, and we'll do hero.align right, or we could probably just do align right, and we'll do text align, and we'll go right. Okay, and we got to do that. Actually, let's do that in this. Let's take this out here and just put it in the above div. Okay, which I think, and I don't need the class because we'll just, and I don't need 2 quotes. All right. Okay, so now I've got it sort of kind of like I want it. Although I want some padding with these, so it kind of lines up the blog, because I kind of was like fooling around with the blog a little bit. So we're also going to go here in the align right and say that the padding on the right is going to be 30 pixels. That may be a little overshot. No, it actually worked. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, for this hero, so I'm going to bring this and put this right here, organize it here. And we're going to say for the hero that the padding on, actually the margin is going to be 50 pixels top and bottom, 0 on the left and right. And let's do that. And then it brings it down nicely. That looks nice. Okay. So we're done with the hero, pretty much. And now we want to move to the info section 1. All right. So, and this let me fix this comment because I was getting ahead of myself. This was the hero. Okay, let's save that. And we'll start with the info section. So we've ended the hero. And now we're going to begin the info section 1. Okay. All right. And okay. So I believe I started, yes, I'll take a look in my notes. I started with an info section 1 as a ID. Okay, and expanded that out. And then within that, I had a row. And within that, we had 3 columns. We had a column with width of 10%. Okay. Actually, we had 4 columns. I lied. And we had a column with a width of 30%, then a column with a width of 50%, and then finally we had the 10% on the side. So a column with a column of 10%. Let's expand those out. Okay. All right. The first 10% I didn't do anything with. this second one is where I started to say some things. So if you look at our finished project, we go here. That's where I'm going to put this stuff here. And the image is going to go in the column with 50%. Okay. So we're going to have a heading 3, a heading 4, and a paragraph with the class of font large. So I don't think there's anything for font size in Milligram. So I kind of did a little trick. Probably should have a heading 4 under a heading 3, but that's what I did. Then I did a paragraph with a class of font large, which is something I made up. And after that, I did just a regular paragraph. Okay. So in the first heading 4, I said something like "need something simple?" ? And then why build something complicated? Okay, and then below there, in this paragraph, I said something like, if you need something simple with only your email and phone number, why build something overly complex? ? Okay. And then below this, I said something like, go here, I said something like, you don't need WordPress, you don't need TypeScript, okay, you don't need Node.js, we'll give you only what you need. Okay, and save that. And then let's see how that's coming out. We're going to have to obviously do some things here. But you see it's centered right the way we want it. We're going to have to change a few things to get the classes or the background and the text different colors. But we'll do that in our CSS. All right, within here, we're going to have a picture of the static website. So I'm going to have an image. Source is going to be in the images folder. It's going to be the static.svg. And we'll say static website, something like that for the alt text. And all right, so there we got that. All right, so now we have to go to our style.css. So let's go down to that. And now I'm going to make a note that this is the CSS for info section 1. Okay, and within this, we're going to have the info section 1 ID. Okay, and within that, we're going to have, let's see, margin on the top and bottom is going to be 50 pixels again, 0 left and right. We're going to have a background color. It's going to be that, I think it's 66 3FF, yep. Going to be that, and then the color of the text is going to be white. Okay. All right. So, and actually, we need a little bit else. I wanted to say not margin, but padding. And I believe actually we're going to need 10 pixels padding here. I should look at my notes, but I'm kind of going along. There we go. All right. I like that. Okay. So we've got that now. The next section we want to do is, let's take a look. Did I put, yeah, I put a little bit of padding maybe on the image. Yeah. Let me just move the, let me just target the info section 1 image. And let's just say the padding is, I don't know, 30 pixels. Let's target that. That's not going to do anything. Let's actually make the display a block, and let's say the margin is 0 auto. Okay, and then let's make the width 80%. Okay, and we'll target that. And I'm refreshing the wrong page, which is okay. So yeah, that looks good. I had it a little bit bigger here. Let's make it 90%. Let's make it 90%. That'll make it a little bit bigger. And yeah, that looks all right. All right, so now we have some spacing in between. So, okay. Next, we're going to do info section 2. So let's go back to our index.html. And we're going to make a note that we ended info section 1. All right, and we're going to begin info section 2. Okay, and I'm going to have another ID, info section 2, because I will target that. Within that, I'm going to have a row. And within that, we're going to have a column with a width of 10. So we're going to have a column with a width of 10 plus 2 columns with a width of 30 plus then another column with a width of 10. Why did I do that? Really don't need the last one. I put that in. I really don't need it. No, it shouldn't be 30 times 2. I want to make an image. Let's take a look at what this is. I want to make this 30%, this 50%. Okay, so I'm going to do 30, and then we'll add another column with a column of 50. That adds up to 100. That makes more sense to me. All right, let's expand that out. The first one, I'm not going to use at all. The second one is going to be for the image. And within the image, we're going to go into the images folder and use the WordPress.svg image. And we're going to say WordPress. Okay, for alt text. Within this one, let's see what I had. I had an H2. So an H2 with the text, maybe I capped it all, need something more advanced. I can't spell, question mark, plus then we have an H4 with the text, need a blog, question mark, advanced functionality, question mark. And then we had a paragraph below that where I just had WordPress, question mark, React, question mark, Angular, question mark, Vue, question mark, Svelte, question mark. We've got you covered, whatever you need. Okay, let's expand that out. All right, so we've got all that done, and we are done with info section 2. So we're going to end info section 2. And if I'm going a little fast, you can always stop the video, go back and check it out. All right, we're going to refresh. Okay, so we've got this now built like this, which is kind of cool, but it's also kind of crammed. All right, so for this section, let's go to the style.css. Let's make a note that we're doing CSS for info section 2. All right, within that, in info section 2, we're going to have a margin on the top and bottom of 50 pixels. I'll take away some of that cramming, and then a padding of 10, 0 on the top and bottom, and 10 pixels. Okay, on the left and right. All right, so that spaces it out a little bit nicer. This one I made this side a little bit bigger, but I think, you can play with these columns, which is what I'm showing you. So I'm playing with the columns. I kind of like that a little bit smaller there. And then now let's go to the contact us section. And again, I may change this, but it's easy in Milligram to play with these columns and do offsets and that kind of stuff. Okay, so let's see. Make a note, begin, contact us section. All right, and then within that, we're going to have an ID of contact us. Within that, we're going to have a row. Within the row, we are going to have one column, and this time I use the offset. I'll show you the difference. So we're going to do column dash 33, and then also column dash offset 33. Okay. And then within that, we're going to have a form. Okay, so we got that form action. We're going to leave blank. We're not going to do anything with functionality with a form. This is just for aesthetics. Method, we're going to leave blank. Okay, so within that, we're going to have an H3 with a class of center, which is a class I'm going to make. And it's just going to say contact us. And then after that, we're going to have a field set. That's not what I want to do. Field set. Nope, it's not letting me do that. I'm just going to type it out. Field set. Okay. And then within the field set, we have a label plus input. We're actually going to have, let's have two of those. Should have a plus here. Okay, and the label is going to be for a full name. We're going to say something like full name, and input type is going to be text. We're going to leave that as it is. ID is going to be full name. Name is going to equal full name, and I believe that's all we need for that one. And then we're going to have a label for email. Our text is going to be email. Okay, and we're going to change this type to email. ID is going to equal email. Name is going to equal email. Okay, let's control S to save, and let's refresh, and we'll see where we're at. And our contact form is a little bit not centered, so we're going to work on that. Let me try something here. Let me just, oh, yep. Okay. All right, let's refresh. Okay, so now our form is centered. Okay, so I forgot the dash there. Okay, I want to center this, so I'm just going to go over to my style.css and just say, make a note like text align classes here. Okay. And the center class, we're just going to have text align is going to be center. Okay. And refresh. Okay. So now we got that in the center. Now we have to have the final thing is the label and text area. So we're going to have a label plus a text area. And the label is going to be for a message. And we're going to say message. And then we're going to go down here, have a text area. I'm going to take out this column and row stuff. The name is going to be message, and the ID is going to be message. And we're going to save and refresh. And we've got that. That's nice. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to make the background for the contact us section different. So this is the CSS for the contact us section, and we're going to have the contact us, that div with that ID is going to have a background color of, let's see, it's going to have a background color of 6C6 3FF. Okay, all right, and let's refresh. Okay, so we're getting there. All right, the regular color is going to be white. We may have to specify a few other things. Yep, okay, we got that. And then the contact us input. The background color is going to be white. That's good. And so we got that. And then we've also got the contact us text area. Okay. And that's also going to be white. And to expand that out quickly, I'm just typing BGC and hitting tab. That's another Emmet thing. And we'll refresh. And so we've got that all done. We should do an input type with a class of button. Let's try button. It might be BTN. Let me take a look. Hold on one sec. Docs, buttons. Button. Okay. All right, let's explain that out. The type is going to be submit. Okay. And let's see how that looks. It's fairly good, but we're going to go here, and in this, we're just target the button class. So we'll say the text or the color, the button, I'm going to make it 6C6 3FF, and it didn't work. Let's do input.button, maybe. Probably still won't work. Oh, no, it worked. Okay, so I had to target it, and then on the hover, let's just change it slightly. Let's do 6C6 333. See how that comes out. Yeah, it turns a little grayer on the hover. I want the font weight to be bold, and I want the font size to be 1.2 rem. Let's take a look at that. And that looks a little bit bigger, a little bit nicer. I also want, let's do this in alphabetical order. I want the display to be block and the margin to be 0 auto. There we go. And okay, so we got that. We've got a button for submitting, but we need some room here. So in the contact us section, I'm going to want the margin to be 50 pixels top and bottom, 0 left and right. And why is that not working? Padding. Okay, there we go. All right, so we've got that section, and then I did the footer. I did that with the other background color we'll use from here from the logo, which is going to be this dark gray. It's 3F3 D56. I'm going to copy that. We'll go back and we'll end our contact us section. Okay, and then we're going to begin our footer. All right, and I'll just have a div with an ID of footer. In that, I'll have a paragraph with a class of center. And then I'm going to say something like, what am I going to say? I'm going to say copyright 2021, Timothy Unkert, all rights reserved. So copyright symbol 2021, Timothy Unkert, all rights reserved. Period. And let's expand that. And then here, bring this down, format it, just make it a little bit nicer. I may actually install prettier here, so I'm just not doing this stuff. But I'm just going to have a line break here because that's what I have here. And then let's take a look at what we got. Refresh. Okay, we've got that. We've got a little bit of natural spacing built in on the bottom there, probably the paragraph. So the margin's going to be a little different, or the padding's going to be a little bit different for this one. All right, so let's go to the footer. Make a room for the footer CSS, and we'll say that the footer is going to have a background, and then we're going to paste in that background color, that dark gray, almost black color. And we're going to have a padding. It's going to be 50 pixels on the top, 10 pixels to the left. Let's do 30 pixels on the bottom, and then 10 pixels on, sorry, 10 pixels on the left is this last one. The first one was 10 pixels on the right. Okay, I'm going to save and refresh, and we'll see we've got that there. Now, the last thing we have to do is make the regular color white. So, okay, and so we are done with our footer and done with our landing page. I hope this video was helpful in terms of learning Milligram CSS a little bit. And if you like videos like this, please smash the like button and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications, as it really helps the channel grow and helps me to stay motivated to make good web design videos like this, or web design videos like this. You might not think it's good, but whatever. Try my best. All right. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good day.